How has that changed the way that this conference is made up in the top half? Because we'd always have Garrett year in and year out as one of your top 4 teams in this conference. How does that change the dynamic of this conference with Jay County coming in and Garrett leaving?
I think first off, it's a strong year in the ACAC, in my opinion. We really put Leo the last several years way up, Garrett maybe a little bit down, and then everybody else. Mm-hmm. But I think it's different this year. I like Heritage and I like Woodland to really compete with Leo, who's 29-1 since 2009 in the ACAC. Their lone loss in that span was to Garrett, who's now gone. So I have Leo number 1 right now, but I think it's Woodland's year. Coach Sherwood Haydock really excited with what he's got coming back with Woodland, and then Heritage has a lot. Branson Dawson is a fine quarterback too. He's gonna be able to throw the ball around. So I like both of those teams competing with Leo for the ACAC.
You have Leo number 1 though, I'm guessing.
I have Leo number 1. Yes, I do.
It's been 4 or 5 years. They've only got that 1 loss in conference. What is it about the program that allows them to be successful? Obviously, enrollment doesn't hurt. They're much larger, and they've added guys like Jawan Allen. But they do have. Anytime I think you have your quarterback coming back and your number 1 running back, and you won a conference championship, it's hard to bet against you, isn't it? Because I've got Leo number 1 too.
For sure. But the interesting thing with Leo is Jordan Hissong going to running back. Was quarterback last year. Craig Klopfenstein's going to be the quarterback. So you look at now, you have Logan Leiter and Jordan Hissong as your 1-2 running backs. Combined ran for like 2,300 yards last year. And a quarterback, which Coach Jared Souter believes, I can move my quarterback from last year that was exceptional to another position so Craig Klopfenstein can get on the field. So that's scary.
Yeah.
If your defense is that all of a sudden you have 2 running backs that can run the ball effectively, and you have Craig Klopfenstein who knocked Hissong out to the running back spot, where it seems like Coach Souter wanted to move 2 guys to put them at their best positions to succeed. That's kind of scary if you're other teams in the conference.
Absolutely. And who do you have number 2? Did you say Woodland?
I have Woodland number 2.
Okay.
I mean, you lose Jalen Bennett and Greg White, but a lot of guys coming back and talented guys with the Warriors. So I like, Austin Connors back. That defensive line is stout. Offensive line, all at least 250 or above along that offensive front. And when you can put guys like that in the ACAC up front, that's scary.
I've got Heritage second. I really like what they bring back offensively in terms of their weapons. I know that Coach Lehrman has to coach up that line, both offensively and defensively, the big guys, but I like Justin Hart at the running back position. There were games last year where he looked really good. Dawson at quarterback. He's probably, in my mind, with Hissong moving, we'll have to see what we see from Mr. Klopfenstein.
Yes.
But I like him maybe as the best quarterback in this league. I like what they've got at the receiver position. I like their offensive weapons. They got to be able to stop somebody, and they got to be able to block people.
Right.
Those are my biggest questions about Heritage this season.
Yeah, I think you look conference-wide, we've always seen Leo as kind of above everybody else in terms of skill players. But this year I think is different because several other programs have skill players, I think, to match Leo. So it'll be really interesting to see those head-to-head matchups.
So I've got Heritage number 2, and I've got number 3, South Adams. I know they're a 1A school, but the success they had last year, I like Rick Burkhalter. I like his mentality. We've talked to him a number of times over the years. I like the quarterback position. I like the wide receiver position. I like their skill positions. They don't lose that much off last year's team, which won a sectional championship. So the guys in Bern, I mean, it's maybe a little bit out of left field as far as being a 1A school in the ACAC, but I like what they're doing, and I like the number of guys that they have coming back and just their overall mentality.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, continuity is key when you're at those, especially at those smaller schools. When you can come out and have 20, 25 guys that have played together for years, that is an advantage sometimes against other programs. But I want to keep an eye on Jay County just because they're the unknown factor. Came in first over 500 season last year since 07 at 7-4. How are they going to integrate themselves with the rest of the programs in there? How do they match up with teams? I think that's just a team week in and week out. You want to kind of see where they fit in the hierarchy of the conference.
I think it'll be interesting really to see because, a 4A team coming into this conference. Tim Millsball's been there I think this is his second year. J.D. Mangus, big back for them last year, graduates, but the quarterback, Nick Clemens, comes back. Always like to have a new quarterback, especially when you're entering a new conference. There's so much unknown, I think, about them, but given the size of the school, you have to think they're going to be pretty successful, correct?
Yeah, definitely. I think the big thing in this conference this year is nobody wants Leo to leave the conference with the title. They don't want to take that trophy and leave. And I think Sherwood Haydock said it at Media Day. We don't want Leo taking the trophy with them when they go to the NHC. So I think the bullseye, more than usual, is on Leo this year, and I think there's plenty of teams in the conference that can beat him.
A couple other teams, Adams Central, Bluffton. These two teams are interesting because they're sort of opposites. Randy Hudgens takes over a program. Dwayne Eskridge is probably one of the best running backs in this conference. I really like what he brings to the table for Bluffton. Michael Mosher, though, has been at Adams Central for a while. It's his 6th season, and he returns a decent number of players. I think they're one of those teams that maybe take their lumps in the regular season, and then in the playoffs, we see when they play schools their size what they can bring to the table. So it may be, one of those rough, long seasons for Adams Central where it's much better at the end when they finally get to face somebody that looks like them.
Yeah, for sure. And it's a tough place to play going out there. It's a good bus ride out there to the cornfields of Adams Central. So it's a tough place to play as well.